Sunday the 2nd of Feb, and we're packing up to leave, and I'll just show you the rooms here at Maruia Motel. Little cafe over there. That's the house where the backpackers is and where Ash lives, and then these are the 3 rooms. There's Lockie, room 1, room 2, room 3, I was in room 3. So the format of this room in room 1 is a double bunk bed and then a single bed, and then over here it's got the kitchen area, and this is actually where I worked. Ash has got Starlink here, so I was able to connect up, and actually I bought both my spare monitors for my remote work, and it was very useful having the 2 monitors. Fridge, microwave, kettle, toaster, nice simple bathroom, a nice shower, and then over here a little sink and a toilet. Everything's very clean. We'll just do the toilet brush Klingon test, and it is spotless. Coffee and breakfast in Reefton. So, such a wonderful morning. I mean, look at that sky behind us. So Lachlan and I have driven down to Lake Brunner so I can catch up with a friend of mine, someone who I've fished with my whole life, a guy called Kevin Bax, Dr. Kevin Bax. So I'm lucky enough to have had 4 really excellent fishermen who I've fished with over the years. Obviously the first is my father, Peter Louis, who taught me how to fish. And I'm also lucky enough to have had an association with a guy in South Africa called Dean Riphagen. My father taught Dean Riphagen to Dean's father. My father taught Dean's father to fish, and Dean became is one of South Africa's best known fly fishermen. And Dean is the guy that encouraged me to keep a trout diary. I have a diary of every trout I've ever caught, although it's about 2 years outdated at the moment. But the other fishermen that I've fished a lot with, one is Rodney Wyndham, who's at Sabi Sabi Game Reserve in South Africa, and he's my great fishing mate, he's the same age as me, and then Kevin Bax, whose house we're at now on Lake Brunner. And I'm going to spring a question on Kevin. He's a gear nerd like I am, and I'm pretty sure that when we were growing up, so when we were 18, 19 years old, pretty sure he had a Click and Paul Marriott reel, which at the time was the most beautiful reel I had ever seen in my life. Yes. And I'm going to ask him, and let's see if I'm right there, and let's see if he remembers that reel. Kev, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Rob.
Now tell me, when we were growing up, did you have a Marriott reel, a Marriott Click and Paul reel by any chance? The most beautiful little reel. Did you?
No.
No?
But I do know the ones.
What was
I
it?
have
What was
seen
it? What reel was it? You had a beautiful small reel when we were growing up. Ooh. Wasn't a Hardy?
I had a little Lamson reel.
Or was it an Able? Was it
No,
a Lamson?
I had a little Lamson reel.
You had a little
reel.
Lamson.
Those little real old school Lamson reels.
Have you stayed loyal to Lamson and Waterworks?
No, I haven't myself, but I've still got those same reels. And in fact, I took Chester fishing yesterday.
Yeah.
And he uses that little Lamson reel.
Oh, that's so cool.
On a little full weight rod that is learning to use.
What are you fishing with at the moment?
I'm fishing with a Winston Air 2 6-weight.
Air 2
Beautiful.
6-weight? 9 foot 6-weight.
9 foot 6-weight.
Oh, I've got the 9 foot 6 6-weight.
I think it Do you?
Yeah.
I did have that rod, and I asked them to send it, and I changed it over because I didn't want the fighting butt.
I don't like the fighting butt either. Your line gets caught around the fighting
I don't
butt.
like the fighting butt. So I got rid of it,
amazing.
and I got the 6, and I got the 9-foot plain, and it is.
And
I think those Air 2s are the best rods I've ever used.
okay, and what reel?
I've got a Shilton.
Shilton?
A South African reel.
Great. Have you got it here with you?
I do.
Okay, cool. And then what line? What line do you pair
Rio.
with? The Rio Gold.
Yes.
Yeah, what a great line that is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Barbara, luckily she doesn't watch my YouTube channel, but she doesn't actually know that I've got 3 Asquiths. She just thinks I've got the 1 5-weight. So on my all my videos, I say I've got the older brother of the 5-weight and the younger brother of the 5-weight. So you're fishing the 5-weight Asquith.
A 5-weight Asquith.
With a Rio Gold.
No, I don't have a Rio Gold. I've got.
Okay.
I think I've got a Scientific Angler's line.
Okay, scientific.
I'm not sure which one I've got.
Infinity Smooth or
Yes.
Infinity Textured?
No, the Infinity Smooth.
Infinity Smooth.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
great.
may just
great.
be it may be the one of the other ones. They make like a GLS or a GLX. And
Oh,
make it-
MPX.
MPX.
That's
It might be the
that's
MPX.
their highest selling
I think it's the
line
MPX.
is the MPX. So you like Loomis, eh?
I love Loomis's.
Okay, cool.
I think. The worst thing that happened with Loomis was that they sold it to
Shimano. But by the way, you'll notice this does say Shimano on it.
Yeah, it does.
See there, hey? Yeah, because I know the NRX LP light presentation. That's a very very highly rated rod. Did you ever have one of those?
No,
No.
I didn't get any
Okay,
one of
cool,
those.
cool.
No. And you don't see many GLXs in New Zealand. They
I see.
nowadays Sage and Scott make up the majority.
Yeah,
of what,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
what-
yeah,
But
yeah,
that just happens to be with the rods that they import.
Yep,
and things.
yep,
But I
yep,
see
yep.
you've got a Scott here as well. Is that a centric?
That is actually a G series.
Okay.
It's a G series 8'8" for a 6-weight.
Okay.
A little bit
So
different.
these aren't all your rods, though.
No, they're not. I didn't bring them all. Well, it'd be too much to. It'd be too much.
But what were you fishing with now while you were here? The
I fished the Asquith 6-weight almost the whole time. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
And then the
you
and then the 5-weight on some of the days.
I like the Asquith a lot, but I find that actually, I think that this thing's actually better. I find the Winston's just got so much feel to it.
Yeah, the Winston. Yeah.
The Winston's just got a great
my
feel.
last trip to New Zealand, I used the Winston Air 2 9'6" for a 6-weight. That's what I used on almost every day.
Yes.
But I had a problem with the reel seat, and I had to send it back for repair. And actually, it's just arrived back in the post from the repair, which took about 3 or 4 months. And Barbara thought I'd bought a new rod, so she's been blasting me on WhatsApp, and I have to try to explain to her I haven't bought a new rod, and she's like, "It looks like a rod case to me," so I'm in trouble.
Okay.
And then in terms,
it sounds like she's onto you because she doesn't believe you.
she is onto me, and she doesn't believe me. And then in terms of the reels,
Wow.
this is an Able that I've been fishing a lot with, which is beautiful.
Oh wow.
That's pretty special.
Yes.
So I had that one custom made with matte black and then the purple handle. That's pretty cool. And then I will say at the moment, this is probably my favorite reel, which is this Ross. It's a Ross reel.
Yes.
But this
I
is
looked at one of these.
an Evolution R by Ross, and it's pretty nice. What do you think, Chester? Do you like my kit?
Yeah.
Nice one. I like your haircut. Hey, that's a
The
mullet
only thing
there.
I don't like about Ross, I love Ross reels.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, is they always put a bit of plastic on it.
Yeah,
Always
yeah,
this
yeah.
at the back or
Yeah.
the front, and I see that silver thing is actually not metal; it's plastic.
Yeah, that's
and I
bad.
don't know why they have to do that. They
Yeah.
take a reel which is the best reel that can possibly be made.
Yes.
And in true American fashion, they want to put a weakness point on it to break.
Yeah, why do they do that?
I don't know why they do it. Able don't do it,
No.
and a lot of the others don't do it, and Hatch don't. And I love Hatch reels.
Oh my
They're
God, the hatch, yeah.
just too heavy, slightly too
They
heavy.
are heavy.
And I
You're
use them
right.
for all my saltwater fishing.
Yeah.
For saltwater, I think that they're amazing, the hatches.
Yeah, these
That
hatch
they
reels are beautiful.
I think that they're
I mean,
the best
how
reels
good
there
does
are.
that look with the blue backing that I put on there?
Oh,
That's Chester's little fly fishing jacket. I love fly fishing. How
absolutely aged. That fish is caught.
old is this?
Ah,
This must be 30
30
years old.
That
A Lamson.
that reel
the
there has caught
original.
so many fish and has so many hours of fishing.
And it's click and pull. I mean, and you don't need more than that.
It's actually got a little. It's got a little drag.
A little drag.
It's got a little drag system.
Oh, it
a little tiny little.
I
little
remember I remember us at your folks' place in Dargle, and you had that reel. I remember that. None of us could believe it.
Yeah. This is an absolutely amazing reel. Like it's been so, like the fact that it looks in this good a condition is just absolutely amazing.
Is good a word? I'm not sure, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, I had a bigger reel than this, which I used to use on a 6-weight Sage, and I actually sent it to my brother in Norway for him to use. So he uses that.
And Chester,
I've got this reel over here.
And this is Chester's one, hey? This is his Airflow Brookie 7'9" for a 6-weight. Mate, that is such a beautiful rod, hey?
The only place you can buy them is actually, is it called Living Waters in Australia or something like that?
Nervous Waters.
And they actually make them. And a friend of mine from here has bought a couple of them. And the new Shultons for freshwater fishing are amazing.
That looks beautiful.
The large arbor ones. And it's been fine. I mean, I've had this for years.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And so I use this thing. And I mean, and then the 9-foot, the plain 9-foot 6-weight.
Without the fighting butt.
It's amazing. I mean, I've got a shoulder. I've got some arthritis in my shoulder, and it's part of the reason why I've gone to sort of rods that have got more power and are easy to cast. And this rod it's so fast to load.
Yes,
it's particularly good. Like I was saying, I do a lot of fishing, still water fishing on the stand-up paddleboard.
Yes.
And you see fish, and you've got to basically drop the oar, pick up the rod.
Yes.
Swivel quickly. You've got one cast to make. The only opportunity you've got. You've got to be very fast and accurate. And this rod nothing's as good as this rod.
Wow.
It's amazing for that.
Wow.
And it's got no fighting butt and stuff on it. It's so smooth. It's easy with a short bit of line out. It's really good with a long bit of line out.
There we go.
And I'm actually I think I'm going to buy this in a 4-weight, and I'm not going to get the longer ones. I think the
9-foot.
They've
just nailed it.
That's where they're sort of pinch pointers.
The Winston feel.
Absolutely.
What rod is that 2-piece one?
This is an old Sage RPL.
RPL, yeah, because I've got an RPL 2-piece.
But feel it. And I mean that's probably a 30-year-old rod.
Yeah, that's right, hey?
It feels still the same as a very modern.
Yeah, that's great. Graphite 3.
It's the technology changed and the new ones.
That's beautiful, hey?
Absolutely. These rods, you feel these rods and you think to yourself, this actually feels like a modern Winston.
That's right.
Like these old rods have got that type of feel.
That's what I feel.
They've been very smart with keeping
Winston.
Yeah, with
I agree.
The way that they feel, and so I haven't really felt the need to buy. I'm not a sort of tech junkie, equipment junkie. I've realised that I'm only ever going to fish with one rod at one time.
Well, the thing about being a tech junkie is it's unachievable. You'll never be happy.
You're never getting the right thing.
You never have the right thing. You'll always be looking for something, something around the next corner.
Yeah.
What I will say is those Shilton reels, it is lovely that they are from South Africa. And the guy that imports them is a guy called Pete Goos, and he lives very close to me in Terry Hills in Sydney. And he's the importer he is Nervous Waters.
He's Nervous Waters.
Nervouswaters.com.au. Hell of a nice guy. And he also does Thomas & Thomas fly rods.
I thought about getting one of those.
Well, you know that Thomas & Thomas is owned by a South African guy now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Some wealthy South African individual bought Thomas & Thomas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, their rods look absolutely beautiful.
They do look.
I personally think that this is the best rod.
The Owen River Lodge uses.
So that's the Air 2.
That's all they use.
Air 2, 9-foot for a 6. Yeah, I think that's what Owen River Lodge has with Bauer reels and Rio Gold lines.
And I mean, I would concur.
Yeah, you would concur, and you prefer it without the fighting butt, eh?
Much more without the fighting butt.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, when I go saltwater fly fishing, I want a fighting butt. I mean, the fighting butt's quite good if you're going to be doing longer fights. You want to put more power on, and you want to actually put it into and really lever.
Makes sense.
I find that for fishing for trout, I've got my rod away from my body quite a lot. Sometimes pulling down, not necessarily always lifting up, but a lot of side pulling depending on how I'm going to do it. So it's actually away from my body much more.
Yeah, that's right.
Particularly brown trout, you want to try and twist in the water to try and get them off their sort of trajectory. To get them out of the main current. The whole point is to get it. Once you get them out of the main current and into a side area, then you can control the fight. They're only going to break you when they're in the main current. They're going to get away. And so because of that, I find I'm pulling them in lots of ways. So I don't actually want the fighting butt. I find the fighting butt actually, detrimental to me.
So if you had a quiver for New Zealand fishing, if you were to have the 9 foot in a 5 weight and the 9 foot in a 6 weight, you could do 90% of your fishing with those two Winston rods.
I'd get a 4 and a 6.
A 4 and a 6, yeah.
I'd get a 4 and a 6.
4 and a 6.
Because I find that that's really quite good. If you're going to then, if the water's really, because what happens here is that our springtime fishing, when the water's high, the water will be 50% higher than during summer low conditions.
Yes.
And so the water's high, you want to get deep, you got to cast heavy, and the 6 weight's really good. But summertime comes and the water gets warmer. The fish fight a whole lot less when the water's warm and it's got less flow.
Yeah.
And then you want presentation, and you're going to be, and a lot of the time you want to then dry fly fish. And so I think that the 4 weight's perfect in that scenario. Yes, if it's windy and you're casting big cicadas, then you just use your 6 weight again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think a 4 and a 6 are the pinch point. I think the 5 and the 6 are too similar.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. So I do a lot of that actually. And then when I fish on the sides of lakes, if I'm streamer fishing, I'll use the 6, and if I'm more dry fly fishing, then I use the 4. And I do lots of 4 weight fishing on the side of the lakes.
Yeah. And do you find 9 foot to be the ideal length?
I do. This whole, you want. I do. I just don't necessarily buy into the fact that an extra 6 inches is going to give you, a whole lot more advantage.
Of anything, yeah.
Advantage. Yeah. I mean, I think that the feel of the rod is going to be different. Look, it's a personal choice. Whatever you want. I mean, luckily, I'm not 5'6". I'm 6'1".
Yes.
So being 6 inches taller means that I can have a shorter rod.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe if I was shorter, I would want a shorter rod. I would want a longer rod. I don't know.
I will say, I do think the longer the rod, the harder it is to net the fish.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, lift it up.
Yeah. I do. This trip, I've sort of thought to myself, 9 foot is ideal because I've got the 8'8" G series.
Yes.
And I've got a 9'6" Air 2, and I think the 9 foot actually is the prime.
Yeah.
Nice one.
And they pack up nice and small.
Yeah, they do. They do. Nice one, Kev. Platform 40 on Lake Brunner. So what do you think of Moana?
This is beautiful. It's like a little piece of paradise.
It is a little piece of paradise, I agree.
It's got such a nice feel to it. The lake is absolutely gorgeous with the mountains in the background.
Yeah.
Stunning.
We'll be bringing the girls back here, hey?
Yeah.
Lovely. I hired my Mitsubishi ASX from Apex Car Rentals, and you need to take a shuttle from the airport building to the hire building and back again. And that's what the shuttle looks like. So lucky, so it ends, hey?
Yep.
I think lots of lessons learned.
Yep.
And lots of improvements to be made
Yep,
in our fitness, in our casting, everything.
For sure. Definitely. My casting was pretty good, but yeah, just the speed of casting, so you got more time on the water, actually fishing rather than and rigging up. Just need to get that much faster.
Maybe get one of those things so you can see the magnifying glasses.
Yeah, when you've got old eyes, it's a bit hard to tie the fine tippet.
Good.
But, yep.
Well, I loved fishing with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Till next time. Is there any piece of Yeti that Lachlan doesn't have?
I've got all the luggage now. I've got the big bag, and that's I probably should have brought the bag, to be honest.
And the Yeti big bag. I'm sure the family will all be here to meet me. Where's the love? Back home. You happy to see me home? Did you miss me?
I did.
What do you think of my beard? I think I'm going to keep it.
No, we don't need to keep that beard.